So today we're looking at the X465E from Xcase. What's good, what's bad, and what I'd like to change. I haven't really been looking for a replacement case, but I thought about going rack mounted for a while, and just browsing the web and coming across the xcase.co.uk site, I came across this particular unit and I thought that's kind of like what I'd be going for anyway if I was going for a rack mount. So on impulse, I bought it. My current system runs in a Thermaltake Core X9, which is huge, but I really maxed it out, especially in terms of PCI expansion, so the Xcase looks like it might fit the bill in that regard. Out came the credit card. I hadn't purchased from xcase.co.uk before, but this time I was very impressed with the service and delivery, particularly the delivery speed. It came within a couple of days, was really well packaged, double boxed, and everything was in order. It's a pretty solid machine and it actually looks the part. It's quite good to look at. So on first look inside, everything is pretty standard, plenty of space. There's a couple of things not obvious from the website. One is the amount of space here and here around the drive caddies. The other thing is that there is in fact a cable routing slot underneath the fans on the bulkhead here. In the front bay there are two drive cages, each holding four 3.5 inch drives, and a grille mesh arrangement here. The system is advertised as holding 8 3.5 inch drives, and you can see here that each cage holds four, quite tightly stacked. If you want to use a 2.5 inch drive though, you can fit in 6 3.5s and two 2.5s. You can see how it's attached here with the recessed screws in this fashion. So, and if you use 2.5 inch drives, you can see that you can't actually fit a 3.5 inch drive in the top slot. It's blocked. So you can only now fit three 3.5 inch drives. It is of course possible to mount the smaller drive at the top of the cage, and that will then allow 4 full drives to be inserted. However, this leaves it very tight for connecting cables and such like to the top drive. It would be possible to use the cutouts in the cage to possibly improve cable attachments to smaller drives, but I'm just not a big fan of these cages. I would have preferred to see 5 height units like these. I have these in some of my other systems and they're much better, and there's plenty of space in the case for them to fit, so I might replace them eventually. The other thing I don't particularly like about this system is that the cages are screwed in to the base, so it's necessary to move 4 screws to get them out, which means that if you need to swap a drive or such like, the whole cage comes out, which is not great. You can see here the surface mounted sockets for the screws. So with the cages out, it's possible to access this panel at the front. There are 4 screws holding it in, and it's perforated. Now I thought there'd be space behind this for fans, but they're not. But as it turns out, 2 140mm fans fit almost perfectly on this panel. With the panel removed, there's space behind for just a wafer thin dust filter. But back to those fans. So after a little bit of DIY, I've now got extra fans blowing cool air over those warm hard drives. One of the main features of this case are the 12 PCI slots, and that's enabled by moving the power supply to the front of the case, and it slots into a bracket here. Though to attach it securely with screws, it's probably necessary to remove the entire bracket using these screws on the outside of the case. But once it's in place, you can see that the power sockets are accessed via this slot and can feed through to the motherboard at the back. So that's it. The front is pretty much configured as I'd like it. Now it's time to have a look at the back. So the main thing that attracted me to this case were the 12 PCI slots, but I think the designers missed a trick here. Just beside the power socket are these 6 cutouts, but I think they could be repurposed. My thinking is that a 2-slot PCI bracket could fit here. I had this 4-slot bracket available, so it was time to get industrious and divide it in 2. Then it just remained to somehow attach it to the rear of the case. So a little later, my 12-slot case has turned into a 14-slot case. Now, I won't be mounting cards like this in it, but it'll be really convenient for, say, USB brackets. So that's the X465E. Next time I'll be putting an actual server inside my new server case.